Welcome to my closet. Why is this? It looks like I'm doing. Oh my god, it's like I'm on Paranormal Activity or something. It's supposed to be like, oh, I got like the mood lighting, as everyone's like, oh, it's just, a white background and stuff in your closet. It's not very exciting. But now this looks like I'm about to do like a found footage, like horror film. Oh, good grief. Maybe I can change the color. Let's try and see if we can get a better color. I don't think this is gonna work. There's just no good conceivable angle or anything that I could possibly set this up at. Oh, I'll try. Let's see if we can do a different color. Oh fuck! I feel like I'm in a dark room. I don't think I like this at all. This is a little too aggressive. Blue goon. You got me edging alone. All right, now we've got the classic bisexual lighting, as they call it. I, I think maybe this isn't working. I think maybe we should just go back to the classic. I'm just not feeling any of these fancy colors, especially because there's just not a really good place to put it. It's like really dark over my eyes. I look like I'm about to record like I don't know, something sinister the way my eyes are blacked out. Like I'm about to be in like a torture film, and I'm the one about to be tortured. All right, that's enough preamble. It's time to get to the point of this video. If you want me to fill this negative space if it bothers you so much, here's a nice little painting that a friend of mine made for me like a decade ago. I'll hold it up as I talk, and then you don't have to. You know what? No, this is already getting exhausting. All right, this is just mostly gonna be an introductory video, which is weird because I know it's the 6th video. My hat's all jacked up because my ear is aching on the outside, and so I want the hat to touch it. Anyway, I do need more hats actually. I've been meaning to buy more hats. I've just been kind of cycling between the two. I mean, I have others, but I just don't really like them, or they just don't really work with anything I have. Okay, I'm Nate. I am an individual with schizophrenia. That much ground we've covered. I guess just things about me. I'm 25. Nothing particularly special about me. I have like a bachelor's in economics. I've got a master's degree in writing, but I do like to write. I've got a few stories of mine that have been published. One, I guess technically twice, and you can hopefully you'll never find it, but there is a poem of mine out there in the world as well that was published, and like I think you can find 8 of the 10 articles that I've written. I think 2 of them are just lost in time forever. I don't know what happened with those, but anyway, apart from that, I'm not really even that I wouldn't say that is that particularly special. They're just like like short stories and stuff. I'm not like a master writer or anything. Definitely am better at writing than I am at speaking, though, which has been a challenge with this channel so far. Hopefully I can continue to improve and maybe have more interesting things happen on the screen as well. I've mentioned this, but I don't script these because I just think it's more genuine and or authentic is a good way to put it. I don't want to come off as just really like scripted and prepared and prim and proper. And I just kind of want to challenge myself as well to be able to communicate different ideas and communicate them well despite not having a script. And I want to put more emotion into these videos, which I think I would have a hard time doing with the script. And granted, I at the moment can't get a little too worked up. Like if you saw the boneless wings video, if I feel too strongly in any way, it can really mess me up. So I'm kind of just sticking to more mild emotions and like expressions thereof for the time being. I do kind of want to like improve my speech in general as well, get a bit better at like enunciating things, not saying and like too much as I just did a second ago. Got a bit of a lisp. I do want to work on that as well. I have been planning to see like a speech pathologist or some other professional about that. I've had it like my whole life, but I've noticed, I don't know if it's just maybe because like I live and well, I don't live entirely alone, but fairly like, given my lifestyle and just circumstances, I don't want to delve too much into the things I do, or you know, or what my day to day is like. But I think it has a negative impact on my speech, being a pretty isolated person who doesn't talk to too many people in the real world, that strange, fantastical world out there. I don't get out like super often. Yeah, so want to work on those things. I want to get more into the, it's such a goofy phrase, I don't like saying the nitty gritty, but get into the nitty gritty of things more in the future videos with this channel. Some of them will also be more random, but I want to keep it mostly like pertaining to schizophrenia and going back to more of the specifics and logistical type things that were brought up in the videos that have already been uploaded. But I feel like we need to do things where they're more conceptual early on, and then once I've touched on a lot of the bigger things, we can really like work it down, or work down into the minds, or whatever analogy I want to use. And that doesn't all have to happen like, you know, we must do all the broader or more like conceptual things before we get to this type of thing and then to this other type of thing. Like, there'll be a mix, but certain things I want to make sure that I've got like everything perfectly well thought out, like with the open source antipsychotics I've mentioned in like a couple videos. I think could honestly make a more conceptual video on that like now if I wanted to, but I'm going to just hold off just a little bit because it's a big thing. It really matters to me, and I think if it actually were implemented and could and did happen, it would make a massive difference. It'd be huge for us. So I just want to, and you know, it's not like I don't imagine. Again, I'm recording this having just started the channel the same day that I actually started it, so I don't imagine there's gonna be like tens of millions of subscribers, all kinds of views at this point by the time this goes up. So, you know, I'm willing to hold off on the first video of my big project that I would like to start someday, and just how other people could go about it. Because again, I want it to be like open source, so it's not like I'm like trying to patent anything or whatever. I want it to ideally have it to where antipsychotics are significantly cheaper. They are much more accessible, and basically this particular line of them anyone could produce them because it wouldn't be like patented or anything. It is legitimately open source, like the formula is open, no like licensing, anything like that. We'll have the production down and have it at a more like either local or state level of like distribution, like production and distribution, to meet more community specific needs, if that makes sense. Basically, we take it out of the corporate hands and bring the price down significantly. I don't think we should have to pay for our sanity. Now, granted, where we're at, obviously, healthcare, like medications, are not free in our system. So there would, even if this were to happen, one would still have to pay, but I want it to be like an 80% reduction, I think could actually be achieved, which is another thing I'm kind of like number crunching too, with like making estimates and stuff. So I think we could at least do that much, maybe even more, depending on like the specific, you know, obviously they're not all priced the exact same as things stand. Okay, I'm getting way off of the introductory topic. You can tell that I really care about this. Okay, so yeah, I started this channel because I just am kind of, like I've mentioned, I want to cover ground that I don't think really gets covered either at all or very much in other schizophrenic like content. And I want this to be free of like an org, because a lot of them either are either directly like they are an organization or a business, or they are affiliated with them in some way. So I want a channel that is free of that, and it's also run by someone with schizophrenia, and also talking about things that don't tend to get talked about too much. And I really want to go into like my strengths. Again, I've got like that economics degree, and so maybe more on like the economic or even sort of financial side of things, and doing analysis type videos of certain policies and that are either trying to be pushed through or that are even like existing ones. And I'm pretty good with the logistical stuff, despite the fact that I will say, compared to like any of the big figures you can think of who have schizophrenia, maybe it's just because obviously I watch them on YouTube. I can think of like a few, like there's like Cecilia McGow, who runs Students with Psychosis. She had that famous TED Talk. I think it was "I Am Not a Monster" or something along those lines. And I mean, she was already pretty brilliant before that even. She literally discovered a star, and no one mentions that. It's so bizarre to me. Or there's like, I don't know if I should be like name dropping channels. I don't know if that's like proper etiquette or whatever. Not like, these are not like, I'm not being negative, but still, I don't know. Anyway, there's like Living Well with Schizophrenia. That's one I've watched quite a bit of. There is, and I mean, from what I can tell, she's pretty like business savvy, and is someone, again, pretty, I guess, what am I trying to say, skilled, talented, in that, like, you know, she runs like marathons, and she's like clearly like pretty charismatic, and a people, seems to be anyway. Obviously this is all like secondhand, but a people person and all that. There's like Schizo is another channel. I like that one. And you know, she does like cosplay, and I think she's either, I don't think she works as an EMT, but she is licensed or registered or whatever. And I'm blanking on some of the other ones. There is the one, I think her name is Michelle Hammer. She runs the business selling like basically schizophrenia related merchandise, like art and whatnot. So very creative, skilled artistically. So you know what I mean? Like I said, I guess what I'm trying to get at, it's funny this is supposed to be my introductory video and I'm talking about other channels and people, but like, you know, the people who are pretty prominent with schizophrenia, I guess is how I put it, or just that experience psychosis, they're like they're special. They're quite skilled or brilliant or whatever you want to, whatever term you want to use. They are exceptional. They're like if there was like a schizophrenia like 1%, they are like the elites. I'm just like Joe Schmo. I'm literally just filming in my closet. You know, I haven't really like done much of anything, and I don't have any like real like exceptional qualities or whatever. So this is just, I'm just very much average, and this is just sort of the like, I don't know, I guess this is the NPC schizophrenia channel. I'm like, I guess the closest thing to like an NPC is how I think people would put it now. I guess you can't necessarily be entirely average if you have schizophrenia, right? It does sort of come with unique elements, but you get what I'm trying to say here. Okay, anyway. Yeah, so there's a lot I want to do with this. I don't know if it'll ever actually go anywhere. I would like it to, but we shall see what happens. I've tried working with different like organizations or people, whatnot. Like, I think, actually I did mention Students with Psychosis. I think I tried to be a member like 3 times. It's like twice when I was a student, and then once thereafter. They just, I don't know, they didn't deem me worthy. So if you don't believe me when I say like I'm like average or unimportant, there you go. I literally have the illness, and never heard from them like 3 times. And then some of them, you know, are like, I thought about it, but then there's just like certain things that are just non-starters for me. Like if an org or whoever has like certain policy positions you know, it's fine to disagree, but there are sometimes ones that are, as I'll make a video on here soon, that are so severely terrible that, at least to me, that it's just a non-starter. Like, I can't even bring myself to like volunteer with them or do whatever. I do, well, there is something I'm doing. It's not like schizophrenia related necessarily, but maybe I'll just do that for another video. I'll be nice and vague for you in this one. So yeah, I wish there was like more to like actually say about me, but I'm just kind of, you know, I'm just here. It is sort of disappointing that, like, you know, I'm like 25, haven't really done a whole lot or accomplished too much, but you know, I guess I got more time. But I mean, I'm kind of just come to terms with the fact that, like, you know, I'm not like I don't know, I'm not a very charismatic or like just not no sort of like real leader or anything. So you know, I'm fine with. I want to do more like. I'd be like a good administrator, but it's just, and I'll make a video on opportunities. I do the things that like you're supposed to do, you know, like get more schooling or volunteer and put yourself out there, which I guess I could do more of that, but you know, I've done quite a bit. I mean, I literally went, and because I care about this stuff, you know, I've mentioned speaking at a committee hearing in opposition to House Bill 241 in Ohio. And it just seems that no matter what I do, things just inevitably don't work out. And I'm not really expecting this channel to work out in the sense that there's going to be like tons of views or subscribers ever or whatever, but you know, it's something for me to do, I guess. And you know, if even a few people watch this stuff and it's like interesting or they learn something or just gets them thinking about things. I think that's the other thing I really want for this channel, is to encourage more of like active listening. What is it that they had us do in school? It was like something like this, like show me listening. It looks like you're about to do like the 1,000 Years of Death from Naruto, but yeah, really get the noggin jogging, you know. And because I think it's easy for a lot of the schizophrenia-related content that's out there to just sort of passively absorb it, if you can even really call it absorbing. And I've even kind of found myself doing that, and maybe that's just because I also have the illness, so a lot of things I've heard many times. But I think that's another problem in of itself, is so much of the content is quite similar. It just seems inevitable that a lot of the like channels or whatever will cover the same ground. And I mean, you see that in like documentaries too about schizophrenia, or even just like plain old movies and stuff, and even in the news. Like, yeah, it just seems like we're always trying the same ground. It's very like stagnant in a way. But that's not to say I don't enjoy the content that's out there, the people that even those who I've mentioned. I've been subbed to all their channels, for at least most of them, for quite a while, and some more recently. There was another one. Actually, two more. I'm blanking on the names. That's unfortunate. Oh well. I mean, it's not like, I don't think too many people are gonna see this anyway. But yeah. So I guess I just find myself constantly trying, but just never really getting anywhere, you know. And I'll make a whole opportunities video, like I said. But I guess there is value in like struggling against the news, so to speak. Not like as in I'm, you know, not pondering all that. What I mean is, like, there is, I guess, value in struggle, even if it doesn't go anywhere, you know, or even if it doesn't pan out the way you want it to. I think that's still, there's some merit to that, as opposed to giving up. My leg is falling asleep. I think I need to like resolve this like closet situation. This is, maybe if I just figure out better times to do it elsewhere around here, where, you know, there isn't like noise from roommates or neighbors or military planes coming in. And yeah, I've mentioned that in a previous video, but I live near a military base, so like that's why we're doing this in the closet to begin with. And the building itself can be quite noisy sometimes. But I don't know. I actually have like a proper, like condenser mic and a camera that might be better than this one. I don't know, but we'll see. Hopefully the closet thing isn't permanent. I get tired of being cramped in here. Well, I can see we're going nearly 20 minutes. I think I will just do like a separate one on the exact experiences I have with this illness, because that's another thing that you see on all sorts of channels. I don't really know that how much I really have to offer on that. Like, yeah, I can tell my unique tale, I suppose, but like, how interesting is it? I mean, you've especially if someone's watching this, like they've probably seen plenty of that from others, or it's just there's a lot of that out there. I don't think my tale is so interesting as to warrant its own video, but I don't know, maybe will. Or at the very least, I can make videos. Maybe we'll just do one big video on all the symptoms I experience. We'll just blast through each of them, because again, I don't want this to be a channel that's just bogged down with all the different like symptoms I have, because that is another thing a lot of channels do, just content creators in general. I'm saying like YouTube channels, but I know there's people on like, TikTok or doing stuff on Instagram or elsewhere. So maybe it'll just be one big bonanza. We'll do a really long video with just everything, get it all out there with the symptoms, because I don't want to make like tons and tons of videos about like my visual hallucinations and auditory hallucinations and paranoia and like then all my like comorbid stuff and delusions and referential thinking. Like we could just it would just be too much. All right, well, anyway, my legs are getting very restless being trapped in here today. I don't know why it's exceptionally bad. Maybe it's because I'm wearing long socks, but I don't know how that would impact it, cutting off my circulation. Anyway, I'm rambling. I ramble a lot. I'm gonna try and get better about that. Yeah. Goodbye.